The overall plot of this film is about a main character, Gus, a landscaper who decides to stand up to a group of bullies who are abusing an innocent kid, Nelson, on the baseball field. He gathers his two friends who were once bullied as a kid as well, and they decide to play a game of baseball against a team of bullies. Eventually, Nelson's father has the idea to use his money and form a team called the Benchwarmers. Their team becomes the sensation of the league and continually beats Little League teams until Gus's past comes back to haunt him and his fans and teammates lose trust for him. In the end, Gus gains back his trust and makes an impact on the social status of bullying. With that being said, the narrative of this movie is to end bullying. The older men try to stand up for the kids getting picked on and try to stop the bullies. The primary protagonist in this film is the main character Gus, who is the one who starts the baseball team with his pals Richie and Clark. The primary antagonist is the bully's father and coach, Jerry. Some other main characters include Nelson, one of the portrayed nerds and victims of bullying, and his millionaire father who creates the Benchwarmers. This movie shows a lot of stereotypes that are perceived in society. To start, you have the stereotyping of the main characters as nerds. They are given low-paying, blue-collar jobs, unathletic, and are interested in other things that are perceived as nerdy, for example, Star Wars. Clark, Richie, and Gus, along with Nelson and his father, are technically all nerds in this movie. In contrast, the other characters have the bully stereotype and play off the nerds, constantly abusing them and acting superior. They are the jocks and the popular people of the town who believe they are better than everyone else. Overall, the satire makes these stereotypes seem light and friendly. An example of this would be in multiple times in the movie where Richie, Gus, and Clark will be playing baseball and in the middle of the game have playful banter with one of the kids calling each other mean names and bickering. It is addressing the overall issue of bullying but lightens up and is meant to be a comical scene. Not all of the movie is connected and meant to advance the plot or narrative. One addition to this storyline was Richie's brother Howie, who stayed indoors and was afraid of the sun. He locked himself in a closet for most of his life because of his fear of the sun, and he would only leave if he absolutely had to. Howie eventually works his way into being able to go outside and overcome his fear, but still has weird quirks about him like eating sunblock and some social anxiety. This character is made purely for the audience to laugh at and brings comical relief to the film. He does not advance the plot or add to the narrative at all, just there for comical relief. Just like a lot of other TV shows and movies, women are portrayed as objects to men. When they showed up in the movie, the guys would act stupid or drool over them, and every time they were in the scene. Even though the guys are portrayed as nerds, they still end up being beautiful with the beautiful women at the end. There is a slight trope used throughout the film that goes along with the idea that Clark and Richie have their eyes set on beautiful women from the start. The trope played out here is the inspirational muse trope. Richie wants to play well to impress the woman that he met. He does it just as much for the team as for the girl. Multiple times, he tries to act cool and prepare himself as he goes up to bat just to impress her. If the movie were to be done differently, I think that the director could have spent more time developing the characters so that we could have more background knowledge of them. Even though this isn't a necessary part to advance the plot, having a deeper backstory for each of the characters would add to the comedy and the satire of the film.